What's up, guys? Welcome to a new day. I'm Stephanie Ryder, and this is the 365 Shares podcast. It's Friday, January 26th, and this is the 26th episode of the 365 Shares podcast. Today's topic is sponsorship, and the Big Red Book says sponsorship is the vehicle by which we take the road less traveled to a true connection with others and a God of our understanding. The passage in the Strengthening My Recovery book is not as much about finding a sponsor. It talks about the authority that we grew up with, having always been under the authority of an abusive parent, an alcoholic parent, an enabling parent, and really just that feeling of like not having control of ourselves or not having agency. And it says we learn that our feelings and our opinions were not taken seriously. So the book actually suggests finding a fellow traveler, which is what the Adult Children of Alcoholics or ACA program calls another person in the program that you work the steps with or talk to on the phone when you need someone to talk to or, meet up with. It says a fellow traveler might actually be a better way to go than a traditional sponsorship relationship, because when we get a sponsor, we could potentially view them as an authority figure, and we have problematic opinions and relationships with authority figures. We might resent them. We might worship them unduly. We might give away our power. We might decide we don't want to listen to them and have like a you're not the boss of me mentality. So it talks about a fellow traveler model being a more equal way to go. It also talks about if you're a sponsor, the pitfalls of potentially falling into that trap of suddenly viewing yourself as an authority figure, where all your life, all you've wanted was for someone to listen to you and take you seriously and value your opinions and view you as a source of authority so that you don't feel like that small child that you felt like growing up. And it's also dangerous when you're getting into a sponsorship role where you're sponsoring other people. We have to let people travel their own paths. We have to let people go on their own journeys. And we don't want to tell someone to do things that they're not comfortable with. We don't want to tell someone to do what we would do because that might not be the right advice for them. And so again, it just says, put yourself on an equal footing, find a fellow traveler. And my local ACA fellowship is actually really big on fellow travelers, and we're big on small groups where we get together one day of the week and work the steps together. Or there's a loving parent guidebook that people get together and work on. So there are a lot of ways to do that. And I actually just had someone from one of my meetings call the other day and just was having a bad day and wanted someone to talk to. And so I was happy to talk to them and just, give them a few things that cheered me up, try this, read a book, call a friend, get out of the house, things like that. And it's definitely not a sponsor-sponsee relationship. It's just a fellow traveler calling another fellow traveler to say, hey, I'm having a bad day. Can I talk to you? And that's really nice. I'm Steph, and this is my share. The affirmation for today is, on this day, I will walk hand in hand with my fellow traveler so we can help each other recover on the less traveled road. What's coming up for me is a falling out I had with a friend about a year ago. We both were going through some fertility treatments. Ultimately, hers worked and mine did not work, and I took a break from it. But she had a very strong reaction to my treatments not working. I think what happened is that she felt happy that she was pregnant, but guilty that I wasn't pregnant, and she didn't want to feel guilty. So she sort of launched into this tirade. If you can't find anyone there, that you need to move here and you need to do all this stuff. And it was basically just like all the things that she had done. And it just really offended me because I didn't ask her for any of her input. And I certainly had not given her input on what she was doing. And, we were on different paths. We had different medical issues. We were seeing different doctors. And I'm really glad that the process worked for her. It just didn't feel comfortable with her yelling at me and telling me that I needed to change everything about my approach. I feel safe, confiding in you at this point. And she said she was sorry. And she said, you're on your perfect path and people have to do their own things. But it just really felt indicative of her need to see herself as an authority figure. And I think that there are a lot of things that go behind that. I think it's, I'm from a dysfunctional family. She's from a dysfunctional family. The adult child mentality definitely plays into this. I think the black and white mentality that's common among adult children in dysfunctional families also plays into this, particularly where sometimes people see themselves as either better than or worse than other people. It's hard for some people to say, I'm me and I'm great the way that I am, and this other person who's completely different than me is great the way that they are, and neither one of us is better or worse than the other person. We're both just ourselves, and we're great the way that we are. So I think that it was just hard for her taking all the drugs they were giving her and doing all the blood tests. And I didn't feel that way. I have so many friends and family members who have gotten pregnant. I have people who have had like 3 kids in the time that I've been trying to have one. And I don't think they're better or worse. We're just on our different paths. And I am faithful that my family will appear in the way that it's supposed to appear, whether it's me having a biological child, which would be great, or whether it's adopting or fostering. Whatever the case may be, as my friend said, I am on my perfect path. We all have a different journey that we're on. And part of the reason that I haven't been more aggressive about it, we haven't gone to IVF, is that my partner and I have made so many positive health changes in the past few years just to try to facilitate the process. Finally got off nicotine. He was like a smoker for 20 years, and then he switched to vaping, and then he switched to pouches, and then he finally got off the pouches. So it's been this long journey, but our bodies and also our minds and our spirits, we've also done a lot of therapy in this time. We've worked on our personal relationship or our romantic relationship. We've done a lot of ACA. So to me, there's just so many things that we've done to be ready. And every time, every month we don't get pregnant, I'm obviously sad. But every month I feel like we have some type of positive progress toward being happier, healthier people, a stronger partnership, people who will be better parents, people who, me being someone who will be able to hopefully carry a healthy baby. So people just have different mindsets, but we could do IVF next month if we wanted to. I'm just sort of mentally getting myself prepared for that. But people have different priorities, and it's fine. Whatever treatments people want to do, or if people want to try naturally, or if people want to adopt, or if people just decide not to have kids. I have family members and friends who have decided to be childless, and they're very happy, and I'm happy for them. Like, I would never tell them they're missing out on something. Like, I don't know what their lives are. Maybe they're not missing out on anything. They look like they're having a great time. So this fellow traveler suggestion, I think it goes beyond just ACA and meetings and recovery. I think we should all treat each other like fellow travelers, because that's really what we are. We're all on this earth for a finite amount of time. We're in our bodies for a finite amount of time. We just have one chance in this lifetime to shoot our shot. And we're all doing that the best way possible. And we're allowed to set boundaries with people, and we're allowed to step away from relationships that aren't serving us. But I don't think we should judge other people. I don't think we should ever put ourselves in positions of authority or superiority over people, because A, we don't know what their lives are. We're not walking in their shoes. And B, I think it's really just a thinly veiled attempt for us to feel less powerless than we felt growing up. And that's really our work to do. So I've been thinking a lot about that. I don't really know. I would love to rekindle my friendship with this person. I haven't really known how to reach out. I didn't want to say anything negative to her, obviously, while she was pregnant. I would never say anything mean to a pregnant woman, and I was so, so happy for her. I don't really know the right way to reach out without sounding sanctimonious and saying like, hey, you handled this incorrectly, but like, we can be friends if you change. I don't want to say that either. So I really don't know how to handle it, but for now, I'm just sending her really good vibes. I hope that one day we will rekindle our friendship, and that we can both just view each other as peers and people who are on different paths, but who enjoy each other's friendship and company, and who support each other and love each other no matter where the road takes us. So that's really what came up for me today. Just that hope and that intention that we can get back to a good place, because I miss her friendship.